Welcome back to the Long and Thick podcast, where your two marsupial resembling uncles help you navigate the noise and cut through the bullshit in the health and wellness space. We are on episode number, fuck yourself, because we're not going by numbers anymore.
We can't count that high.
Yeah, we're well past our abilities. So from now on, we're numberless, baby.
Unhinged.
What's good in thy hood, my brother?
Oh man, it's been a rad weekend. It's been a busy one. Hosted a cool little cocktail soiree at the Casa. You were there. Long and Thick were present, rolling deep.
I know. We missed thickest now. I feel like this is like a true like part of the name. Like, fuck, this is really going to stick.
Yeah. Well, with that too, Christopher is my roommate. We have been scaling up these cocktail nights. Originally, it was just an idle interest. After Japan, I was like, oh, well, we'll see what goes into mixology. We'll just see. And then I get hyper fixated on stuff. And, you know, we now have more. Now we have more than a full bar at the house. And we have been scaling up. First was a couple neighbors and then a couple neighbors and then some. And then we did a night that was like 20 something people. And then this past Friday, we did 31 people. And
expecting like 40 something.
Yeah. And it kind of got away from us a little bit. We still made it through and it was just fine. Didn't feel like it was too much. But, you know, I would have loved to have invited so many more people. And that's where it gets tough because first it's like neighbors and then family and then some friends, some clients. And then when they're like, oh, can I invite this person? And then you start looking at the list. You're like,
200 people on this list.
So we'll see. We'll see what the next one might be. We'll still probably invite more. And that way we can actually get long, thick and thickest in the same room.
I can somehow foresee like this becoming a quarterly event where you like are renting space and it's like, you know what I mean?
I don't want the logistic move of having to do all that myself. Like, cause it's still nice to be able to host it at the house, but yeah, it is snowballing rather quickly.
Then you're in like liquor license territory. Well, as long as you don't sell them, right?
Yeah. We're never going to, and that's not the point of it too.
Right.
But we've also talked about too, like if anyone that we might just do like a charitable donation thing to an actual charity.
That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's the next piece of it because we don't want to make any profit from it. That's not what we're doing it to do.
No, of course.
And shout out Lauren Dingman. She's our bar back. I mean, if she can make money doing it because she's like the MVP of the whole thing. Like,
yeah, I was like, where do I put this drink? She's like, I got it. I was like,
no, the first time we did like a bigger party, she just did it because she saw we were weeded. There's no way we were getting our own glassware. We were just slinging drinks. And she's like, I got it. And then she became impromptu bar back. And then she's like, anytime you do this, I'm down.
Wow.
So
hell yeah.
Yeah, we kicked her a couple bottles last time. But yeah, no, she without her, she is the pulse of the place. Like we're just sitting there being idiots with liquid.
Sorry, we're out of supplies.
Yeah, no, without her, it'd be sick. But yeah, before that too, what was cool for us is we did Baby Chan. Run us through that.
Yeah, that's right. Daniel and I went to go check out in traditional fashion. The heart of how the podcast really even got started was with this same kind of thing. So a new place opened up. They had done like a soft opening, I guess, that whole week. And we went the last day of that week, which was last Sunday. Somebody told us, inside scoop, to get there at 8. I did find out that you were right about the hour swap. That did happen overnight. And they were like informed like the next morning, like, hey, by the way.
Yeah. Cause I want to say too, like when you told me it was 8 a.m., I looked on the Instagram and it also said 8 a.m. the night before. So it checked out.
Yeah. So either way, it worked out. We ended up getting there. It was pretty funny. Was it your first time in that area too though? No. Okay. So in Nashville, it's called the Griff.
Oh, the Newhoff district.
There you go. So I don't even fucking remember what it's called. Pickleball court. That's not a paddleball.
Yeah.
But I was like, where am I? Like, what is this? And we're there at 7:30. So it's like quiet on a Sunday morning. No one's out doing shit. There's a couple dogs here and there. But we go and line up and we're like, oh fuck, it's not going to open for a little while. Sure enough, the line starts forming like 8:03. Like people are just like slithering out of bushes and climbing down from the broken ass architecture.
The amassing was pretty crazy, crazy and quick, but my brain's like, we'll just do crazy.
I like that better.
Yeah.
But all that to say, it was great. Coffee is solid.
Pastries were sick.
The pastries are different, especially given our recent travels, that strawberry sando. Did I give you a bite? Am I that much of an asshole? I just
I got one.
Inhaled it. Okay.
Yeah.
All of the flavors of Japan were really, all of the setup in there, everything was just so like, go back.
Yeah. And I don't want to, so I don't know if we said it, but the place is called Baby Chan. It is a sister cafe bakery to a very successful Japanese brunch spot here called Kisser. But I don't want to take a liberty and say this, but this is just what I'm reminded of. But it basically does feel like an elevated form of Japanese, like convenience store food.
I agree.
So like if you go to like a Lawson or a 7-Eleven in Japan, these are all standards that you might find in the little breakfast sando section, but just done with an incredible care and elevation.
Yeah.
So it was delightful. It was awesome. And the inside of it is Japanese modern minimal with orange accents, which is to a T my shit. So it was nice.
Yeah. You had a wet dream just being in that nice colorscape. So
it was delightful.
Good stuff. Highly recommend. Today, folks, we are diving into the 6 biggest roadblocks that hold people back from their fitness wellness journeys. This is not the only 6. These are the 6 that we felt like are the most all-encompassing to the realities and things that we've experienced, things that we've helped people through. So we're going to go through different sections, just sort of breaking those down and fleshing them out a bit. And we're going to kick off with probably the clearest thing in terms of why you are not getting better is not having a clear plan.
Yes.
We have hammered this in. A lot of this, even as we're writing it out, feels very redundant. And in all honesty, the nature of this space is redundancy. I mean, literally the plan you're following is do the same thing you just did last time, over, a little different.
And over and over and over again and getting slightly better each time.
Right.
And we've talked about this also off camera, but it is crazy that the health and wellness space, in every other avenue of our life, we require that level of pattern recognition and tiny granular shifts to get better, whether it be return on investment, academia, education.
Right.
Health and fitness is this one thing where people are like, well, why don't I just get this effect quickly and easily? Why do I have to put in this work and do this thing over and over and over again? And it's like, it's analogous with any other thing in life, period. Why is this the one exception you think that you need a different approach to?
Yeah.
Where it's your diet, your training, your cardio, your sleep, all of these habitual things need to be regimented, or else you are not going to adapt well. You're not going to get the results that you want if you're just willy-nilly adhering a little bit and then not adhering a little bit. If like you don't have a clear plan to follow, we've said this before, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yep.
And I don't understand where everyone has that disconnect where they're like, oh, well, like it's not that big of a deal, right? Well, it might not be, but you also might not be getting the results that you want either because you're not adhering to a plan. Right. Where everything else in life is sequence and curriculum. For whatever reason, this is a hard thing for people to adhere to and get that to stick and get that connection to be made in their brain where it's just like, oh, well, like just a little bit at a time. Focus on this one thing. I'll get what I want. I update my goal and move.
Right.
But getting people on that path to start and to get that to click in this pursuit just seems to be like a harder one battle than others.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is a byproduct of how we have learned to reward ourselves with purchases, with things that make it feel like you're doing the work, and in some cases reward you sooner. Money, not so much, but for whatever reason, I'm thinking about like cooking, right? Like you're talking about honing in on a skill in some way, shape, or form, lifting in our case, and like exercise. But don't you dare, you little fly bastard. The difference is that like, I think people have felt this, I am doing something, I am being proactive by buying a recipe book. You still suck at chopping. Yeah. Like, but you can get away with it. You can come out with a better dish. With this, like, there's this expectation that if you buy a program, even like something is just inherently going to change, or your results are going to like, it just is not that way.
That's a fair point. I think that's an excellent way to state it is people approach fitness as a consumerist fashion,
right?
Rather than I am adopting a new skill to be better at something and have the health be the byproduct of that pursuit.
Right.
So that's a really good call out.
Yeah. And I don't blame people for that. I've fallen prey to that. It's easy. It's like the guy that buys a sick pair of running shoes thinking like, now I'm a runner. Bitch, you haven't taken a step. Like you just did the thing and you're like buying into that space, but we're marketed to, we're preyed upon in that capacity. And so we don't blame you or shame you if you're like, man, I don't have a plan and whatever, but all that to say, it is so vital to making sure that you are successful and that it starts to become, part of your lifestyle and part of your daily experience, as opposed to like this little, one-off thing, because nothing changes that way.
Yeah. And it's harkens back to several things that we've talked to in the past, where the things that happen in the human body are glacial in pace. Now you might get a couple flashes in the pan. If you have a huge overhaul, that might get like a larger uptick on the scale weight perhaps. But most of this stuff is a slog. It is just doing the work over and over and over again, and then learning to enjoy the journey and not the destination.
Right.
Whereas, like you said, we're marketed to thinking like, oh, you're gonna get this result in whatever. Yeah. And it's not the case. And people might actually follow that plan for a little bit, but your body is constantly adapting. And if you don't adapt with it or show it something new in terms of strain, struggle, input, it's not going to do anything. And like I said, the understanding needs to shift away from something that is a consumer product driven thing to this is a skill set that quite literally will benefit your life at every turn. Yeah. But you have to be willing to get better at the skill and not just do the thing hoping that you can drop off the minute you get your result, because you're not going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're showing up to the gym and sort of like, what do I do today? You're already wasting time, which that is the only thing that we have that we will never get more of, no matter how rich or fit or whatever thing you acquire, you don't get more of that. So treat it like the precious thing that it is. And go ahead.
No, don't say that's a perfect segue to, because of time, we don't get any of it back. The next big hurdle is and I'm guilty of this in a lot of things that other than fitness and health, is that waiting for the perfect time or waiting for the motivation to be just right. Or strategically cobbling your pieces in a way like, okay, this is the right moment for me to start. Whether it be creative or professional or fitness. A lot of people like, well, we're just not there yet. We're not ready to do it. It's just like, dude, it should have been done tomorrow or yesterday. That's a really big hurdle for people. And it's easy to get locked in the prison of your own mind. Imagining this perfect idyllic oasis of, here's the perfect moment for me to walk into the beautiful dunes of fitness. And lap at that little pool shimmering in the desert. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, grapes over your shoulder. Right. Like that moment's never coming. So you're just been standing at the train station waiting, and you're like, I think I hear it. No, that's on the other side of the tracks. Actually, that's for them to get on. So the perfect time to start is right fucking now. The biggest things that we see people run into in terms of ways of dancing around this are this romanticizing of this like arrival fallacy. Like I'll know when the stars spread and Moses crawls out of the ocean and, beckons me forth. Like then it's my time to start. It's like, well, that shit's not happening. And probably there's going to be more obstacles and barriers and things that just happen as a way of life as we age. Like typically there's more on our plate, not less, until you're like retired maybe. So if you want to wait till then to start, training,
your back's broken and you're like, oh my God, well, like hopefully my money and my legacy got me where it needs to go, but my body is in shambles and it's a shattered temple of nonsense.
Unlikely. So this comes down to just like honing in on the discipline side of just getting after the thing. You don't need to wait till it feels right, till the circumstances are right. If money is an obstacle, if time is an obstacle, 5 minutes is better than 0 minutes. And if you have nothing, do as many push-ups as you can. I can't do push-ups. Do them on your knees. I can't do them against the wall.
Like body weight squat, is a way. Sit on a chair and stand back up.
There's always a way. And if you know folks, or this resonates with yourself, like man, I keep sort of, kicking the can just a little bit further. Like stop, stop kicking the fucking can, get after it. There is no perfect time. The perfect time is the moment that you're hearing this. And so,
what's the adage? The best time to have planted a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is right now.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And we always say motivation, it's fake. It doesn't actually, you're never going to hit by this fantastic thing of light and you're like, aha, we're ready.
Yep.
It's like, no, like motivation is bullshit. The fact that it's ever sold to you in package, like, oh, this is like a great motivating thing. It's like, no, what happens is you build habits, that becomes discipline, and that's what motivates you and keeps you going. And it's not even what motivates you. It's like, oh, this is just what I do.
Right.
Because we have mornings and days where we're just like, ooh, I do not want to do any of that shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But we know that is the foundation that's keeping the rest of everything working super well. So you just suck it up and you do it.
Yep.
Or if you need another push, do it for people that depend on you.
Yeah.
Is your health receding into the darkness actually going to benefit the people around you, whether it be your significant other, your family, your kids, their kids?
Yep.
Are you showing up for them?
Yep.
Are you going to be the person that you want to be for them 20 years from now? No, get started now.
Yeah.
Plant the tree now.
Right.
So,
yeah, good stuff. Anything else to toss in there that you feel like is?
No. And I think it's also a really good segue too, talking about people and who you surround yourself with is a really easy way to fall off the path is feeling truly alone in that pursuit.
Yeah.
And no person is an island. We love to think, especially guys, like, oh, I can work my way through this.
I'm a lone wolf kind of guy.
Shut up, nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're soft, but sorry to say it. But yeah, you have people around you, use them. We are communal creatures by nature.
Right.
And it's very easy to get lost in your own head, to also go back to fear and avoidant behavior of motivation versus discipline and lean into people. I mean, I've texted you or I've called you, be like, yo, just tell me not to be a bitch because I am dragging my feet.
I need to get a lift in or even just, it happens without it being that intentional. And just to almost circle back on the points, we have not having a plan, we have waiting for the perfect time, and now we are fleshing out the having no support system. And this, it is a natural byproduct of just like, of us talking about anything. It could be like, well, okay, we're wrapping up today. What else do you have going on today? Well, I'm probably going to hit a lift, but it's not like I have to tell Daniel I'm going to work out, otherwise he's going to be mad at me. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, like I'm going to hit this thing and whatever. Okay,
even cool. Communicating it keeps it top of mind and files it up in terms of importance and reestablishes that in your brain. Like, oh, well, actually I do need to do that. Yeah. Rather than just like almost strategically not talking about it and letting it just fall by the wayside and be like, oh fuck, it's already 8:30.
Like, yeah. I should just cook and do laundry. And like, yeah, you should do that too. But also like you know what you're doing when you're set up that way. And having a support system, we talked about this really early on in some of the transition of like becoming healthier people from being like cigarette suckers, me eating Wendy's 3 times a day, which is actually not bullshit. I have people that can corroborate that. As young teen computer nerd me, just being like, well, I don't actually want to cook and I could pretty much walk to Wendy's. So I might as well rip it again. Yeah. Junior bacon cheeseburgers back when they were 99 cents. Ooh, yeah. Oh my God. That's good.
Simpler, more beautiful times. Carry on.
But yeah, some of the pain in life's changing, your decision to start to dive into like a more healthy lifestyle is creating separation from what was facets of your current or previous support systems.
Oh yeah, beautifully put. I mean, that's something that's not often acknowledged is when you are doing, if fitness is a new pursuit for you, innately you are now putting distance in a counterculture way around the people that are in your orbit. Yeah. Because if you were surrounded yourself by people that were of that mindset, you'd be well along your way. Right. Because they say like, look at your 5 closest friends and your habits will mirror those. Yes. So if you have nothing on the fitness plate yet, which is totally okay. Yeah. Everyone has to start somewhere. Absolutely. But you are now going to be putting friction close to everyone that you talk to on a daily basis or interact with on a daily basis. And that is going to feel damning.
It's hard. Yeah. And it deserves, I was talking to a buddy this morning about like, even people within our groups, like some people are like getting ready to get married. Some are like thinking about kids or have had their first kid or whatever big like monumental life shifts there are these changes that happen with it. And if you are not also participating in that flavor of life change, like there's a natural divide that happens, and there's like a bit of a grieving process that surrounds that. I mean, you think about like, he just said it before jokingly about the better, simpler days, but that really is alluding to like, you're in high school, like your bases are covered. You just like fuck around with your friends, you game, you skate, you whatever, like you do your stuff with your people, and that's your whole life. And then as that starts to change, like that's a hard thing to lose, right? Like you start working and whatever. And so all of these same things parallel and exist within making that decision. It's going to be hard to like not want to go out and drink every night and do like your one night and still see your people and feel like you're not letting them down, or then they don't resent you and whatever. Like it's really not that chill of a process, but it is so worth it. And you'll find other people that you're like, oh fuck, I didn't expect to meet someone that like also is so into this stuff and also likes other things outside of just health and wellness that like we, you know, connect and appreciate, like us and coffee and all that, like those things happen. And so you have to be willing to step out of that, and your life will be better in more ways than just getting more fit. Yeah.
And it is. Yeah. It can be sometimes a seemingly emotionally violent upheaval because you're suspending a lot of what was comfortable, going it alone for a little bit, trying to find this new path. But the people that should be in your life to support this next step will come, and they'll come in sometimes unlikely places and unlikely times. You're like, oh shit, this is great. And then, which is again, another segue into, you are going to get pushback from those previous people, or you might have people that don't understand what you're trying to do, or don't understand the severity of which this means to you, that you really want to make such a wholesale change in your life, and they are going to push back. They're going to make you feel bad. And that's something that everyone has to adjust for themselves, but it's better done earlier than later, because you don't want some toxic, malignant idiot bringing you down and making you feel bad for wanting to take your health, your longevity, your fitness into your own hands and make a better life for yourself. And I work with people on a constant basis that unfortunately they're like, yo, I really love this, but I got someone back home or my significant other or a relative like making me feel shitty about this. It's like, well,
you got to reassess that. And part of what's happening on the other side of the coin for those people is like, that's that same avoidance and pain of like, fuck, I'm feeling like a shift. Like I'm going to lose this person to this thing. Let me shit on it, attack it. Cause it's a defense mechanism on their behalf. Like
it's an insecurity projection,
whatever it is. So if you are on the side of receiving it, take a step back and zoom out and be like, oh, this isn't actually like about me. This is about like a bigger, more ethereal, like deeper thing that's happening. And they're probably not trying to be like a malicious piece of shit. If they are, then you're definitely better off without that person. But all to say, your support system is so vital in every facet of your life, but in particular, like your fitness and that journey and trying to have peers and friends that look out for you and want you and feel excited for you to like be making those changes.
And you're also faced with a couple of different choices when you're faced with those kinds of decisions or those impasses, because you could also flip the script, and some people are good at this kind of thing where they might recognize that and address that person or persons like, hey, I realize you might not understand it now why I'm doing this, but it is very important to me. So either one, just please respect that. Two, do you want to get in on this with me? Because we can see two people are better at something is better than one. We don't have to divide. And this could be better for us both if you just have an open mind. I would rather have more time with you than not. Do you want to get on this train? And if they're still just an idiot about it, okay, then we don't have to talk about this at all. But just know that I am doing this with or without you. So there's choices.
I think it is. I'm glad we're diving a little bit deeper into this, because I feel like it is one of those things that is really underappreciated in how real this is for people and how many people have experienced this. And just giving some voice and credence to it, and like, okay, yeah, fuck, it's important to acknowledge that.
And I will say too, just to kind of wrap up this particular topic, that this is not just being hyperbolic because we have a platform about fitness and that kind of culture, but quite literally the best people I've ever met in my life that have had the most lasting impression have all shared the pursuit of trying to better their health and wellness. You know, it's just, you don't realize, you never know who's going to like drop out of the ether, even you.
Sure.
You know, it's just the best connections I've made have been through the gym or fitness or people with that like-minded pursuit of, I just want what's best for myself, my family, my kids.
Yeah.
And it's a very powerful thing. And I just want that for everybody eventually.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Moving right along. We're on point number 4 now. This is called the horrors of life. And so when we think about exactly what that sounds like, this can be a huge roadblock. And honestly, less of this is about like, this is what's holding you back. This is just acknowledging again, shit that will happen.
Yeah.
This is not an if, this is a when, and it has massive implications or can on your training, your health, your wellness. Some of the horrors of life, things that come to mind are just like everything under loss, right? Like losing a job, losing a loved one, losing a parent, losing a pet, losing like something has been taken from you. And now you are in this space of like, for sure you have negative motivation. In fact, you are motivated to do nothing. You feel motivated to lay and grieve, and whatever funk cloud you're in, the motivation is actually fueling you to like be there. And you have to respect that process. There is a healthy level of responding to that and letting that happen and not running away from the heaviness and the shittiness of what you're feeling. But to stay there is where that roadblock really starts to take some notches from your overall well-being.
Sure. And yeah, it's no way to really quantify what that's for sure, just such a person-to-person basis.
Sure.
However, this also nods back to the support system.
Yeah.
And the people closest to you, I mean, they're going to know the best way to kind of navigate that.
Yeah.
How to leave you be and let you grieve and mourn. And obviously there's a level of severity depending on the actual instance. You know, you lose your job, that sucks, but you can, after a couple of days, but if you lose a pet or a loved one, that is an entirely different circumstance.
Yeah.
And it's just going to have to be a case by case basis. It's going to happen. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to handle it differently. Like for me, I'm not saying I'm better or worse than anyone else, but probably the worse the situation is, the harder I'm going to go into the gym, because that is my escape for better or for worse. So I can usually channel a lot of that negativity into just going harder, but that's not the same. You're like, oh, well, just pull yourself out of your bootstraps, get in the gym, tough it out. That's going to break someone.
Yeah.
So it really is going to be a thing, but it is going to be, that might be ultimately the biggest derailing factor, and you can't account for it.
Yeah, I would say inside of that horror umbrella is like a chronic illness diagnosis, like a cancer or some kind of big thing that's like, wow, I have to like fully now reevaluate my life. Like,
and furthermore too, I mean, I have clients that unfortunately are dealing with this very same thing. That also might not be directly them fielding that, but having to support someone else that are dealing with that, where their life is then monopolized by that care cycle and being somewhere in and out of town constantly. And just concessions have to be made. You know, you have to try, if it's that important. I mean, everyone's health and wellness should always be a priority at some point, but there's only so much sometimes, you know, if you're pulled absolutely thin and it could be a really sticky process, but it's going to happen. Unfortunately, we have to talk about it.
Yeah. So I think just acknowledging that is important and gives some power to people to just be like, yeah, fuck, that just does suck. And there's not, those are all things that are almost entirely out of your control in all of the things we're listing. And so all that I'm reminded of when I think about those things are the people, myself included, who have experienced loss, hard shit, difficulties, and still segued back into moving because it's an expression of life, right? So it's almost like your fuck you to the thing that took your person away or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, the villain arc is very much a thing. We say that almost comedically,
For
but
sure.
that happens, and it happens a lot when people sever relationships romantically.
Yep.
You know, you can almost see the writing on the wall. You see, like, you know, couples in the gym, for instance, and their training or their physiques are kind of falling by the wayside. Their personas have kind of drifted away from what you know as like their core resonance. And then when they split, one or both, but generally it's one. One has that same like fuck you spiteful thing, and they just turn into like either a supermodel or a stud, and they lose a bunch of weight, they get ripped, and you're like, oh, it's like you jokingly say, who hurt you?
I mean, it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
And so you can use it to your benefit for sure. I think it's just an important piece of the puzzle to acknowledge. And if you're in a season right now where you're navigating that stuff, the people that I've coached through who have dealt with whatever shit that comes their way, like there has never been a time when they started to become more active and implement healthier lifestyle decisions where they were like, I regret doing that. And it made my grief worse. I actually wanted to kill myself more. I like that I've never come across that. In fact, it's sort of funny. Somebody the other morning was like, hey, like I've been, you know, training a bit more actively instead of just like what we've done in here every week and a half ish, whatever. And like, it's like making my depression sort of like really minimized, and that sucks. And they said it as a joke because it's like, fuck, like now you know, but it's very real. And we're not suggesting that like you're depressed just because you don't exercise, but there are really powerful correlations to the things that happen emotionally for us, cognitively, our outlook on life, the way you feel about a hard task that's put before you when throughout your week you have done hard tasks on purpose. Yeah. You're like, oh, like sweeping doesn't feel like this huge, like, oh my God, I have to muster up so much energy to do it. You're just like, yeah, fuck it. Like I just, you know, pulled some weight around, like this is sweeping. Like it's fine. So, important things to acknowledge. Anything else you feel like is worth like mentioning in there?
Yeah, I would say over like the last year or so, and it comes obviously in cycles. You can set your watch by it, but something I hear clients or friends, they'll get really rattled by, say, like a political climate or a crisis of faith kind of thing. And I am treading around this one so carefully. You know, I'm not trying to offend anyone's beliefs or where they are on a political aisle, anything like that. However, I do feel like people start to internalize a lot of things that's just like a little bit outside their control or what should be directly influencing them. And like you can be upset and dejected by how things shake out. And if any political change directly affects you or your family, I don't want to minimize that at all. That's terrible.
Right.
However, most people are not directly influenced by that. They're influenced by headlines.
Right.
And then they go to internalize that, and it changes a lot of what they do, their motivation. And I've had clients that will, in the middle of us doing a session, spout off some terrible thing. It's okay, that on paper looks bad.
Yes.
Does that affect you?
In this present moment, I think is a big delineation, like is what you're saying. Like it's not like a signature on a thing has now added 40 pounds, maybe mentally, emotionally, but it's that's happening. If you didn't know, right? If you didn't know your friend was in a car accident in that moment, whatever, the bill was signed, the thing, like you would not have changed. So the change is coming from the perception of like this weighty fuck, like
and that's okay. It's okay to be confused or agitated.
100%.
And it's completely a natural response. But living in it and hearing people talk about it week after week, and you can be upset by it, but a lot of the weight that they're holding doesn't truly affect them directly. It might feel like it does because as a populace, we're like, oh, this is a net negative for society. Right. But nothing has changed for their livelihood, their family, their day-to-day at all. So it's just a reminder like, hey, like fight your own fight first. Yes. You can be upset about a larger macro picture.
As you should be.
Yeah. And I'm, again, saying this with very measured words.
Yes.
Like I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody. And a lot of these implications, they are, again, pretty damning in what they represent philosophically. Sure.
Yeah.
But you're still in control of how you feel and what you can do with your own time and your autonomy. So try not to let it rattle you too much. You can be an activist. You can do whatever you want. But when it comes to your health and fitness, like do not let that be absolute cancer for your mental state.
Yes.
Because it's not that deep. And you're going to continue. Our society will continue. Our political confusion will continue. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
So just focus on you. Try to work on your happiness and don't let what's kind of almost engineered to be divisive do its job.
It is 100%.
So
that is money. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you brought that up. Moving on. This feels like a separate thing, and that's why we put it in a separate category, but the wholeness of injury as just its entirety will set you back as well. It's not really, and if there's some degree of injury you will experience in your body, that will impact your ability to move, how you feel, all of these things. So what the fuck do you do? Well, funny enough, on the Long and Thick podcast, we have a 3-part series that actually is pretty dope on injury and what happens.
All things, how to navigate, how to rehab, and just the core underscore is just do not let it become your identity.
Right.
Injuries can come in all shapes and sizes, different severities, but all of them can be recovered from. And it's up to you and almost like a soft obligation of the people around you just to get on with it. Do what you got to do. But it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your body. It's not the end of your fitness or your health. Just get on with it.
It is just a roadblock and you can circumvent it and bypass it, and you will. But yeah, don't stop moving. The more in the muck you are with the problem, the better you are at addressing it. Like you gotta just trudge through it. Honestly, not much else to flesh out about it. Like
and it's one of those things where it seems redundant, or it's like, using the definition of the word or using the word in its own definition. But at the end of the day, the solution to most injuries, rehabilitation, is still going to be exercise. So get on,
Never heard of physical therapy? No. Okay. Last up, there's many nuggets and subcategories underneath this, but it's funny, even in writing this out, which we didn't do purposefully, every like bracket keeps like feeding into one another in some way, shape, or form, and almost in a very tiered structure. But this we just call a lack of understanding, just like overall, like what are the things that are going to be roadblocks for you, are a lack of understanding in food, in how food impacts you, how your body responds to certain milk or things like that. Like how are your genes primed for, right? Like a lot of it is becoming your own scientist and experimenting on yourself and diving into that, understanding macronutrients and the content and the impacts thereof. Not saying you have to go be a fucking PhD, but it is an endeavor that will probably be some degree of a roadblock at some point. If you pick up your training, you start adding in 4 or 5 days of cardio. Are you eating for that? No. Well, then your lack of understanding that you needed that in the tank to be able to facilitate these changes and yada, yada is like, there you go. Case in point. What else we got in there?
It takes a certain amount of experience, and I feel for people just getting into the space now because the noise and cacophony of BS that's out there and people screaming at the top of your lungs that everything is so polarizing, best or worst, or you have to do this, or you have to stay away from this. Everything's a hook. Everything's sensationalized. It's not that ever. It's never going to be that.
Right.
If it smells like bullshit, it usually is.
Yeah.
So it's just getting the understanding of like the main pillars, which will bring it down to just your training, your food, your sleep, and your stress.
Yep.
Managing those and understanding how they all and some of that you won't realize right away. It's going to be a bunch of blurry concepts that are in orbit. And the more you do them, you'll see like it'll start to coalesce a little bit, like, oh, these are how these are connected, but you're not going to have that right away.
No.
We could explain exactly what it is, but you still have to live it, and it has to make that connection internally for you.
Sure.
And how that internally feels for you, the feedback and how you recover and how you feel and think and operate. But yeah, that oddly enough also goes back to the motivation side of thing, or fear and avoidant. The lack of understanding can keep you right. You have to just start.
Yeah.
And a lot of the understanding comes through repetition and just screwing around and seeing what happens. And while you have to figure that out along the way, the other side of this is why someone would employ someone like you or I. Is we cannot make it click for you day one.
Right.
But a coach in either Ronnie and I's instance is our job is to look at you, your ability, your lifestyle, and what you want to do, and synthesize the simplest plan for you to understand then to get the thing moving forward, and then adapt. And sure, coaching might be a premium expense, and that might be its own roadblock. You're like, well,
yeah,
I don't know if I want to pay for that. You don't have to.
That's stress. That's management.
Yeah, you don't have to, but that's why people like you and I exist and do what we do, is because we are trying to help you understand a little bit more.
Right. With
the understanding, redundancy, that you still need to do the work for a long time to make all that make sense.
And even for us to piece it together, a question that came up while you're talking about this that I think could be helpful, and I have some answers for this myself, but what do you feel like are some of the things within these pillars that you have learned about yourself? Like at first it was these like cloudy things. Like what trends have you seen? What are some like signals to yourself that something in the mix is like out of whack, that initially you were like, I feel sick, or like what, like what the fuck is going on? What are some examples of those things now that you're like, oh, when I feel this, now I know it's probably bup, and then...
We talked about this briefly on a previous episode around programming and progressive overload. But one of the biggest things is I just took for granted what overtraining actually was. And someone early in my years just said, like, there's no such thing as overtraining. Like, there's always something that you could be doing. There's always something left on the table. So I would train forever. Yeah. And then when I was trying to think about like certain numbers going up on certain lifts, and my training partner at the time and I were just like murdering each other, and we were quite literally watching our PRs go down. And then we were training so hard for a while and taking everything to failure and all this stuff. I was like, we're feeling like flu-like day of or day later. And it's like, well, that's not what I like. This is supposed to be for my health. Right. So that's one, is that like, you need to recover. That was like an aha moment of like, oh, like your body is capable of so much if you just let it rest a little bit. Yeah. And that harkens back to sleep.
Sure.
And then also another one is just, I made a post the other day about the stronger you get, the more sweet treats you can have and not get diabetes. And that's true. Like the blood sugar management of what muscle can do is unreal. Yeah. However, I mean, you can go too far. So if you have a mostly whole food diet, say 80-20, you feel a certain way, the clarity of thought. And you can, if you check in with yourself enough and you're honest with yourself, if say we had like a baby Chan weekend or something like that, like my weekends get off the rails a little bit by design. I also don't care that much. Sure. But the sleep around it suffers. The digestion around it suffers. My energy regulation suffers. So it takes some time and some experimentation to really see that picture of, I feel exemplary 4 to 5 days out of the week. But if I start making choices and indulge, then unequivocally things, screw around. Sure. I mean, we joked about this off camera too, like whether it be pollen, summer, stress, whatever, like I am rocking a gnarly sty on my eye right now. And so that just probably seems something chemically is also amuck in my body that is not taking on that, and like throwing a cocktail party is probably not the best for my body. Yeah. So like
probably went a little later than 9
later. And then you have toxicity of alcohol, all of these things, all of these are choices that end up with a desired or undesired effect. Sure. And that's where we're at. And it's just,
And I think like there's a beauty in fleshing out that process because it's all still self-discovery. And I would imagine, I know the answer to this, but you probably wouldn't have, if I said rewind the last 72 hours, what choices are you going to make differently? They would probably be like water breaks at different points, not like, oh, I would have just completely avoided this, that, and this. And, sometimes that's the case, but even still, you still learn, you still win, right? Like, so yeah, I think some flavors of that show up for me are like, especially when it comes to fitting in my training on like a longer day. Summers historically are very, very busy for me. The longer days, I have somehow more fluidity in my schedule and fit people in. I'm getting booked out farther and farther and farther. And so I have this like feeling of obligation to make time for people because they're like, hey, I have a real problem and I think you can help, and I can. So there's this like, fuck, I need to.
But then your food side is suffering.
And then I haven't eaten. Yeah, I'm at 1,100 calories by fucking 9 p.m. And I'm like, oh, time to eat 2,000 calories just to make sure I don't lose weight.
Yeah.
Good.
Your guilt side of that is stress management.
Yep.
Your lack of food is then a problem.
Then the training suffers, and then it's right. And so it's like, okay, what do I do with that information? When I see certain things pop up, I say, could I fit this person in this time? Technically, yeah. But now I've had gone from 8 till 3 with no breaks, no eating. Like that's not good. That's not the way to do it. And so you don't know that. You do logically, but until you do it and you keep doing the sort of stupid thing, there's your understanding. And it's like trial by fire, like wisdom built by mistakes. And so
fail fast, learn fast. Or we both of us
keep
collectively
being a fucking
keep
asshole.
keep failing and learn a little thing behind you. Like, oh, I know I should
but
be doing
don't change
that.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Your favorite thing, do as I say, not as I do. But
that is my mantra.
I
know all the secrets. Don't get me wrong. I just, love self-sabotage.
Here, you do it. Yeah. Right.
Here's the way. Just don't watch me do anything, please.
I mean, it's the reality of being a human being, right? And like the beauty and the mess of it, and just like enjoy the process. Like it's not gonna be perfect. You're not gonna be optimized. You're not fucking Brian Johnson shooting vitamins up your ass for $1 million a year. Like, that sucks too. Like that's a miserable life.
The optimization culture is also just crazy. I don't want to go too far into it, but from what you said, just enjoy the process, small little things, small little wins, make it make sense for your life. But when it comes to like optimization culture, it's like you are not remotely optimizing the big shit to then be at such a tip of the pyramid that you have to eke out these last 4% of what this is targeted toward. No.
100%.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. But the process will unfold for you. So as a roadblock, it's not like just do this. You might, again, already know what to do, but this is an individualized thing for people who maybe work like nights. Like you might feel like find your trends. I'm a big like data person. Anybody that I program for, I'm like, I need like 2 weeks of like info on you. Like, how do you sleep? Like, what's your HRV looking like? How are you eating? What kind of load are you under in the week? And now I can start to see some patterns, some stuff, and it just keeps giving you more clear things, like having a plan, right? To like build upon and change instead of guessing, and try to enjoy that process. Cause it's fun. And then you really feel more in control and on top of your stuff.
Love that.
Hell yeah.
I'm good with all that.
Me too. Toodaloo, you motherfuckers.
Till next time.
Catch you later.